Right now, she's reading you, not your words. She stopped listening to those months ago. She's reading your desperation, the way you double text, how your voice rises when she pulls away, that nervous laugh when she mentions other men. And while you think you're being a good man, she's already decided you're prey. This isn't about being nice or mean. It's about a game older than civilization, one where attention is currency and indifference is power. Jung called it the anima projection. Nietzsche called it slave morality. But tonight, I'll show you what it really is. 15 tactical truths about why women ignore good men, and why the ones they can't ignore are rarely good. The first tactic is called the attention paradox. Here's what no one tells you. The moment a woman knows she has your complete attention, you've already lost. Not because she's evil, because humans don't value what comes easy. Schopenhauer understood this. We only want what runs from us. Watch any woman with a man who ignores her. She becomes obsessed. Now watch her with the man who texts back instantly. She becomes bored. This isn't personal, it's primal. The brain confuses scarcity with value. So when you make yourself constantly available, her unconscious mind categorizes you as worthless. Test this tomorrow. Take twice as long to respond. Watch how the dynamic shifts. Watch how suddenly she has questions. But here's where it gets darker. The second tactic, the pedestal trap. Every time you put her above you, you put yourself beneath her, and no one is attracted to what's beneath them. You call it respect. She experiences it as weakness. Think about it. When you idealize someone, you're not seeing them. You're seeing your projection. Jung called this the anima, the perfect woman who exists only in your mind. And when you worship this projection, the real woman feels unseen, invisible, angry. So she ignores you, not from cruelty, from disappointment. You promise to see her, but all you see is your fantasy. The tragedy? Good men do this most. They think pedestals equal respect, but pedestals are prisons, and prisoners always escape. The third tactic will make you uncomfortable. It's called the provider paradox. You think providing makes you valuable, but watch what actually happens. The more you give, the less she respects you. Not because women are ungrateful, because giving without boundaries is desperation disguised as love. Machiavelli knew this. Generosity without power is just weakness with a bow on top. When you pay for everything, fix everything, solve everything, you become a utility, not a man, a service. And services are replaceable. The men women can't ignore, they give strategically. They create scarcity, even in their kindness. One day they're generous, the next they're distant. This inconsistency creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive behavioral pattern known to humans. The fourth tactic, the vulnerability trap. They say women want emotional men, but watch what happens when good men cry, when they share their fears, their struggles. The attraction dies, not immediately, but slowly, like respect bleeding from a wound. Because what women say they want and what creates attraction are different languages. Vulnerability only works from a position of strength. When the dangerous man shows a crack in his armor, it's intriguing. When the nice guy shows his wounds, it's just weak. This is why women ignore good men's pain but obsess over bad boys' glimpses of humanity. The contrast creates the attraction. Without the darkness, the light means nothing. Right now, you're probably angry. Good. Anger means you're starting to see. But what comes next will disturb you more. The fifth tactic is the security paradox. Good men offer stability, safety, commitment, everything society says women should want. But the female psyche craves something deeper: emotional range, uncertainty, the full spectrum of feeling alive. Security is death to attraction. It's why women in perfect relationships feel empty, why they sabotage stability. They're not broken, they're bored. The men women can't ignore understand this. They create emotional weather, storms and sunshine, intensity and withdrawal. They make women feel, and feeling anything is better than the numbness of safety. Freud called it the death drive, the unconscious desire to destroy what's too perfect. The sixth tactic, the savior complex. You see her struggles and want to help, to heal, to be her hero. But heroes are for movies. In real life, trying to save someone makes you their parent, not their partner. And no one wants to sleep with their parent. The good man sees a broken woman and thinks, I can fix this. The man she can't ignore sees the same woman and thinks, this isn't my problem. Harsh? Yes. True? Always. Because when you try to save someone, you're saying they're weak, helpless, beneath you, and even if they accept your help, they'll resent you for seeing them that way. This is why women often leave the men who helped them most. The savior becomes a reminder of their worst moments. Hold that thought, because the seventh tactic exposes why your kindness is killing you. The seventh tactic, the approval addiction. Good men are good because they need to be liked. Every nice gesture is a transaction, kindness for approval. But women can smell this desperation like predators smell fear. When you need her validation, you give her all the power. And power without attraction is just pity. The men women obsess over, they approve of themselves. Their validation comes from within. So her approval or rejection doesn't shake them. This indifference creates a paradox. The less you need her approval, the more she wants to give it. But the moment you start needing it again, she pulls away. It's a dance, and good men don't know the steps. The eighth tactic will show you why being understanding is misunderstood. It's called the boundary collapse. Good men pride themselves on being understanding, accepting, non-judgmental. But watch what this really communicates. I have no standards, no lines, no self-respect. Every time you accept disrespect, you teach her to disrespect you more. Every boundary you don't set is an invitation for worse behavior. Women test boundaries not because they're manipulative, but because they need to know where you end and they begin. When you have no boundaries, you're not a man. You're an extension of her will, and no one is attracted to their own shadow. What I'm about to tell you might make you angry. The ninth tactic, the truth about chemistry. Good men think chemistry is built through consistency, through proving themselves, through time. But chemistry isn't built. It's either there or it's not. And it's usually there with men who don't try to build it. Because chemistry is about genetic compatibility, unconscious recognition, primal selection. When a woman says there's no spark, she's saying your DNA doesn't excite hers. Brutal? Yes. But this is why women will ignore years of goodness for minutes of chemistry. They're not choosing to. Their biology is choosing for them. The men who understand this don't try to build attraction. They test for it. If it's not there, they move on. Good men, they try harder. And trying harder to create chemistry is like trying harder to be taller. The 10th tactic, the emotional labor trap. Good men become emotional tampons, always available to listen, to comfort, to understand. But here's the dark truth. The more emotional labor you provide, the less sexual attraction she feels. You become her therapist, not her lover. The friend zone isn't a place, it's a role. And you auditioned for it every time you listened without reciprocation. Every time you comforted without boundaries. The men women can't forget. They refuse this role. They're not cruel. They just understand that attraction and comfort are opposing forces. Too much comfort kills attraction. Too much attraction prevents comfort. The dance is in the balance. But good men don't dance. They stand still, holding her purse. Before I reveal the next tactic, remember, this isn't about becoming cruel. It's about understanding the game you're already losing. The 11th tactic, the future fantasy. Good men sell the future. They talk about commitment, marriage, building a life together. But female attraction lives in the present, in the moment, in the feeling of now. When you're always talking about tomorrow, you're not present today. And presence is power. The men women can't ignore? They make now so intense that tomorrow becomes irrelevant. They don't promise futures. They create moments. And moments are what she'll remember. Not your 5-year plan. Jung understood this. The feminine principle is about being, not becoming. When you're always becoming the perfect partner, you never actually are one. The The 12th tactic will disturb you. The chosen trauma. Women often choose men who hurt them over men who heal them. Not because they're broken, because trauma creates intensity. And intensity feels like love to a nervous system raised on chaos. The good man offers peace, but peace feels like death to someone who's only known war. This is why she'll ignore your stability for his instability, your consistency for his chaos. She's not stupid, she's addicted, and you can't compete with her drug of choice. The men who understand this don't try to be better than the trauma. They understand they're playing different games. He's selling intensity, you're selling security, and the market has spoken. Here's where the game gets really dark. The 13th tactic, the masculine void. Modern good men have been trained out of their masculinity, taught that strength is toxic, that dominance is dangerous, that leadership is oppression. So they become soft, understanding, feminine, and wonder why feminine women aren't attracted to them. Because polarity creates attraction. Masculine and feminine are magnets. When you abandon your masculine to be good, you become magnetically neutral. The bad boys women can't ignore. They kept their edge, their danger, their capacity for necessary violence. Not because they're evil, because they're still men. And in a world of neutered nice guys, the man with balls is king. The 14th tactic, the investment imbalance. Count the energy you pour into her, the texts, the plans, the emotional support. Now count what comes back. The imbalance isn't accidental, it's strategic, because the person who invests more has less power, and power imbalances kill attraction. Good men invest everything up front, like showing your entire hand in poker. The men women can't ignore, they make her invest first. Time, energy, emotion. They create what salespeople call commitment bias. The more someone invests, the more they value what they invested in. But you're giving away the store and wondering why no one's buying. The final tactic is the darkest truth. The 15th tactic, the shadow projection. Here's what Jung knew. We're attracted to our shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny. Good women are attracted to bad men because he represents her repressed darkness, her unexpressed wildness, her caged animal. And good men? They're attracted to broken women because she represents their repressed chaos, their denied damage. We don't choose partners, we choose mirrors. And the reflection of a good man is boring, because goodness without shadow is incomplete. The men women can't ignore, they integrated their shadow. They're good and dangerous, kind and cruel, light and dark. They're whole, and wholeness is magnetic. But here's the warning Machiavelli would give you. Understanding these tactics isn't permission to become evil. It's permission to become real, to stop performing goodness and start embodying power. Because here's the final truth. Women don't ignore good men. They ignore weak men pretending to be good. Real goodness requires strength, boundaries, the capacity for necessary cruelty. The good man who can't be cruel when needed isn't good. He's harmless. And harmless and good are not the same thing. You wanted to know why she ignores you? Because you ignore yourself, your needs, your boundaries, your shadow, your power. You've made yourself a supporting character in your own life. And no one falls in love with supporting characters. The game was always rigged, but not how you thought. It's rigged against anyone who won't claim their power, who won't integrate their shadow, who won't risk being disliked. You wanted to be good, but life rewards those who dare to be real. Now you see the game. The question is, are you finally ready to play? Or will you keep wondering why she texts him back in seconds, while your messages stay on read? Next time, I'll show you what Nietzsche knew about becoming someone impossible to ignore. But warning, it requires killing who you think you are. The choice is yours. But now, at least, it's an informed one.